Okay, I want to introduce you now to our insurance expert, Chris Ferguson. Chris has worked with me for a long time, 10 plus years, and his only role is getting the proper insurance on these properties. And way back when we first started doing this, we didn't really have insurance in-house, so to say. And what I found was our clients were going to their P&C or their auto or car, right, insurance person. And first and foremost, they weren't familiar or even able to do insurance in the markets where we do business. And so then they were scrambling, but also they weren't taking an approach, or sometimes our clients would just shop premium, or I call it Geico shopping, where they just look for the cheapest premium possible, but then they don't have the right coverage. And what's the point of building your real estate portfolio and creating wealth if you have gaps or holes in it that if something were to go wrong, it could all disappear? And so I wanted to, first and foremost, make sure we had the right insurance. Secondly, I want to make sure we were getting access to the best carriers at the best premiums. And in the event that we need to use insurance, they're actually reasonable to work with. Believe it or not, there's a lot of carriers, many of you probably have personal experience, that when you actually need the insurance, they're a pain in the butt to work with. And I wanted to make sure that that wasn't the case. And then I also wanted to make sure that we were looking at everything from above, meaning you're now acquiring real estate properties, you need insurance on those. How is that now tying into the rest of your insurance? How are the coverages? Do we look at getting an umbrella policy? Can we package it all together and save you money? And so Chris will go through that process, and he's really, really good at looking at all of that. And as you have additional exposure, right? As you build your real estate portfolio, it gets more and more important to make sure that you have the right insurance, because you have more to lose, right? At the end of the day, and not just from coverage standpoint, but from other parts of life, right? Let's make sure that we don't want your houses to be covered really good and you have really crappy car insurance and you get in a wreck and they exhaust your insurance over there and they realize you have equity in your houses. And so we look at all of it together and make sure that you have the right coverages for the best prices, and that it changes and modifies over time as your situation changes. We also find that so often people don't ever really pay attention to their home, their auto type of insurance. It just automatically renews every year and it just goes. But life changes and your insurance needs change. And so we want to make sure that we're conscious of that. So Chris will go through that whole process with you and be in touch and help answer any questions.